everyone, and welcome to Music in the Making. I'm Melissa from Campus Radio, and with me I have the very talented Lew, who has rebranded and is now known as Lewloh. Hi!
Hi, hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm at an 8 out of 10, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you for being here with me today.
Of course, thanks for having me.
As you know, we are in 2020, and whether we like it or not, there is a global pandemic, that we are in. And I know that you've personally been affected by it because you had to be tested and quarantined, right?
Yep.
Could you tell us a bit more about how that happened and what that was like?
I am a full-time student right now. I'm studying in Boston, Berklee College of Music. And when the pandemic hit, it was kind of like, at the time, it wasn't that bad in the US. So we were still deciding whether should we stay here or should I go back to Singapore? And I think the mother in me was like, because I live with my roommate who's also from Singapore. I was like, okay, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to go back now.
I actually really want to know, of course, we are in the middle of a pandemic as we've established, but has it affected you and the way you write your music at all?
So I think more recently, I want to say the last year, I've really gotten into collaborating and working with people. And obviously this pandemic was kind of like, you like working with people now? Work alone. So it was like, okay, so I think it was a weird transition from being relying on other people to kind of pull their weight so that we can create this art together to okay, I need to pull my own weight on all areas to be productive and stay motivated to, create art. I think another thing is being alone, kind of just the nature of being alone makes you reflect on a lot, and that kind of got a lot of subconscious and thoughts that I swept under the rug to resurface. And because of that, there was quite a lot of material to write about.
Is music cathartic in a sense because you're taking what you shoved underneath the rug a little bit and addressing them through music?
I mean, one of my goals with music is to be vulnerable and to be vocal about the things that we are naturally uncomfortable of. And, being a songwriter, it's kind of your job to, what's the word? Okay, it's kind of your job to document your experience as a human being so that somebody else out there who maybe is not as eloquent with their whatever's up here into whatever's coming out. For me, there's a reason why a lot of my catalog is not happy music. And that's because when I'm happy, I like to retain that energy and I like to experience it. And then when I'm sad, I want to get it out.
I completely get it. Not gonna lie, I listen to your songs when I'm sad because somehow it just makes sense,
Exactly.
Yeah. But before we go any further, I think I just want to know, if, because you are technically rebranding from Lew to Lewloh, but is anything about your music gonna change at all?
No. Okay, so musically, you will still get your 9 p.m. rainy weather music, but the reason why rebranding is more of a business decision. To find my music online, it's quite hard to find it just by typing LEW because I'm competing with Lewis Capaldi and Leona Lewis and all of these other Lewises around the world. It's just easier for people to find me in the long run.
Okay, so I will still get the cry to your music is basically what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, and I think something so beautiful about your music is really your lyrics. I feel it's what you said just now. It's taking the thoughts in my head that I can't, say out loud or don't know what it is, and being able to listen to it and be okay, so he's just told me exactly how I feel, and thank you for that. But how do those lyrics come to you, really?
In terms of lyric writing, I really like poetry, and that's what I studied in secondary school. I took creative writing, and I think I really enjoy thinking about concepts. So in terms of essays, your thesis, right? Coming up with a thesis and then making sure each verse or each paragraph contributes back to what your essay is about, right? That's how I treat songwriting. So when I think of a concept, I try to think of ideas or ways to say the same thing in a different way, or share a little bit of a different perspective each verse or each chorus, so that it paints this full picture, like a balanced picture. You know, for example, if you want to write a heartbreak song, it's not just sadness you're experiencing betrayal and like you're grieving, but also there's a sense of relief and hope.
Then how do your melodies come into play?
If you're a musician, you will very quickly realize my melodies are very simple. And because I follow this equation, which is if I want complicated or deeper lyrics, I pair it up with simpler melodies and music. Just because again, talking about the brain, like our brain can only process so much information in 3 minutes. So if you want your lyrics to come through, you really need the rest of the background to be complementary.
Yeah, I guess it's all about balance, right? And I think that's something that's so beautiful about the music that you write. And speaking of which, you'll actually be performing one of your released songs for us right now. Tell us a bit more.
Guitar right here. So this song, it's called Robots, and it's about the external pressures that are put onto us from when we were kids to pursue or to be people that we weren't meant to be. And if you're from an Asian household, you'll probably relate a bit more to this song. Okay, this song is called Robots, and I hope you like it. Where am I going? We ask ourselves. It's only been a year, and our parents, they ask what our friends are doing to compare how successful and rich and married they are. My stress is showing itself on my body. I've gained a couple pounds, and our uncles and aunties, they say how better looking we were last year, whilst their daughters and their sons hide their problems from their mums, whilst they're out having fun. Human isn't enough. We have to learn to be robots, or lawyers and doctors, or businessmen with dollars. We are actors with an Oscar, 'cause we pretend we're good enough. A silver lining, at least we work fucking hard these days. Oh, I'm tired of earning just enough for eye bags and glances, judgment from circumstances, to prove that I am worthy, 'cause I am never worthy. Human isn't enough. We have to learn to be robots, or lawyers and doctors, or businessmen with dollars. We are actors with an Oscar, 'cause we pretend we're good enough.
Thank you so much, Lou. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, I agree. It's such a relatable song. Like, not gonna lie, when obviously because it's unreleased, right? So I'm hearing this for the first time, and I was just thinking about, oh my goodness, that is exactly what my parents, my uncles, my aunties, and all of them have said to me before. It's like the true like Asian experience, you know?
Come on. I mean, how many times is Chinese New Year you go back and they're like, "Wow, 你胖了," or like, "Wow, you look bigger," or like the way you dress. And I'm like, thank you. I mean, I came here for your ang bao, but I guess this is the cost. So
I completely relate. Like, yeah, it sounds like a song that I'm gonna be listening to at like 2 a.m. or in the shower, because I feel like that's where all my thoughts like come at me.
actually, the target audience will be parents. This is for the parents. It's like, stop doing this to your kids, because we grow up with so many issues, and then it's like, who's the cause? It's you guys.
So it's kind of like a slight, beautiful, subtle shade towards, you know,
Exactly.
wonderful. And actually, I'm really curious. How did this song like come about? Where'd you write it, or you know, is there a specific time of day or place where these kind of like thoughts come to you, and you're like, okay, I need to put it in a song?
I think that it was written in a place where I was doubting this career in music, just because, like, especially if you were an artist or a musician or a creative watching this right now, you probably relate to the fact that pursuing something like this is so risky, and it's difficult. Like, it's just a lot of rejection that you have to face and a lot of self-discipline and motivation to get through. I was just kind of thinking about why society is the way it is. And one of these reasons is just a lot of echo chamber and a lot of what I learned from my parents, I'm going to tell my kids. And this cycle that's just never ending is creating this environment that is so not conducive to like personal growth and like peace, you know? Like, this song is kind of like hopefully a wake-up call, or at least a tool for people to acknowledge that a lot of why they just go through the motion is because of this cycle that we've created in society. We need to break it, you know? Our generation will be the one to hopefully dismantle it a bit more.
No, but I really do think that our generation really is the one that's going to break the cycle, because I see so many more of my friends, you know, going out to pursue their dreams, not just thinking like, okay, I need to have like the piece of paper that's going to tell me I have a degree, which I think I really appreciate. But is this the hardest song that you've ever had to write?
No, I mean, okay, listen, this song falls into that category of like, I already knew this was an issue that I have to address. The hardest song that I've ever had to write is always going to be like heartbreak songs. Like, heartbreak, if you've ever experienced it, I feel you, I understand you. Like, it's such a debilitating like pain, and like heartbreak songs will always be the painful ones for me to write, because it's just so like humanizing. Because a song like Robots is quite like, you zoom out and then you write from this perspective. Heartbreak songs, you cannot zoom out. You are you, and you're just writing about the pain that you're feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does, because I feel like you're just wrapped up in this bubble of like heartbreak and you can't extract yourself from it. Speaking of that, is there anything, what's the most daunting thing that you've had to do to date, you know, as a singer and as a musician?
I guess one of the most nerve-wracking, daunting things that I had to do was moving to the States to go to school there. And so a little bit about myself, I was born and raised in Hong Kong. And then I moved here when I was 18 to serve NS. Yay, Singapore. And then after that, I moved to Boston. And like, every time I moved to an environment where I didn't have friends, or I didn't have people that I could fall back on physically. And going to the US was kind of this like unknown space where I was like, am I gonna meet good people? Am I gonna make new friends? And like, what's going to happen to my music? Because prior to music school, I didn't have any music background. So I'm like, is my music going to become too calculated and surgical, or am I just going to get better? And hopefully, I know that I'm definitely a better musician now than I was before.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think maybe you could give us some positive news to look forward to in the next few months. What can we expect from you?
So, I am working on a lot of songs. I won't disclose how many yet because I'll save that surprise for next year. But there's definitely an album coming out next year, and I'm planning on releasing a few singles in the coming months. And these singles were actually written after the album was written. So a bit of a context, it's like my album was written within a month after my last heartbreak last year. And then these singles are songs that I've recently written and provide a bit of retrospective thinking. It's a little bit of a thank you, positive post-breakup song. Yeah, I don't know. My last breakup was quite amicable and not toxic, which was a good thing. But I think when I was processing it, I was like, why didn't he cheat on me? Or why didn't he do something really bad so that I could blame all of this pain on, right? But it was so peaceful that I was like, so if nothing drastically bad happened, then why did it have to end? So yeah, this song is kind of thank you for being in a relationship with me, and a bit self-deprecating, I'm sorry I wasted your time.
That was so beautiful, and thank you so much for spending time with me today and for sharing more about what's coming next. Speaking of the new song, I would love to hear it. I'm sure everybody watching would love to. So please, take it away.
I held you closer than you ever held me. At least we got to cuddle with your back to my face. I needed you more than you ever needed me. For that I'm grateful, 'cause you knew and you stayed. I loved you more than you ever loved me, and that was a hard pill to swallow. But I hurt you more than you ever hurt me. So I'm sorry that it was your time that we wasted. I won't forget as much as you will all the times that we connected, all the tears that we collected. And you will remember some of the good parts, but most of it hazy from the smoke from the fire, from the love that expired. I loved you more than you ever loved me, and that was a hard pill to swallow. But I hurt you more than you ever hurt me. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was your time that I wasted.